Welcome back. So now that we have set up our application with the 3 routes, I even started it just to show you guys. It looks something like this because we added extra products. Now every time I click one of these, you'll see there's an error actually, pretty much saying that you don't have any routes set up yet, so we don't know where to go when you say /customers. We have no clue where you want to go, and that's kind of the problem right here. So we need to do some more. Let's just keep going and you'll see a bit about configuring the routes. Now this is where the lazy loading actually starts, right? Because you have an app routing module, and that's where you kind of, depending on your route, you put in a feature module, right? So in our case, when I click this guy, orders, I want to add the orders feature module to my system. When I click the products, I want to add the products feature module to my system. So that's the first step. Let's try and figure out how to do that. So let's jump back and see some code right here. They say that to do this, you need to open up the app routing module and change your routes to look something like this. Let's do it. Let's go into our app routing module. It's right here. And let's change this. As default, it's already set up right here for us. So we'll just add this new setup, right, for the routes. And notice there's no product, so I'll just add that in here. And yoink. And we'll call it, what did I do? What did I do? Let me just try that again. There we go. And here we'll have products. And where should the products go? Notice it doesn't point us right here to a component. That's what we're going to do when we get to the modules. But right now it points us to load some children. That's the lazy loading. And it wants to load, in this case, I'm going to say the products module called products module. In this case, there we go. So pretty much saying that instead of going to a specific path and getting a specific component like you might be used to in Angular with plain old routing, now we're actually asking it to go to and load a specific module that we need instead. So we're not done yet. This pretty much means that if I save this right now and I try to run my application now and I click, notice nothing happens still, right? I don't see any change. I don't see any component down here that says welcome to the products page or welcome to the customer page or anything like that. I can still change the routes. I don't get any errors, but I don't see any real information yet. So we're not done yet. Of course not. If we continue, we need to of course also put routes inside our feature modules. Now the feature module itself is fine. We don't need to change anything there. There's actually a point then, that is because we moved this into a routing module inside the feature module, this guy, then we don't need to change anything in the feature module when we need to change routing. Yes, nice independent, right? We like that. Scrolling further down, this is what we have to do in the feature module's route. We have to consider what should happen when I hit the root path. So what should happen when I hit a path that looks something like this, /customers? What should I actually do? That's what I need to figure out. So jumping back here and going into my routing module, let's just start with products and just pasting this in here. If I go in and say I'm going to hit the root path of products, I want to hit the products list component, right? That's what I want to show. Now this is what you're used to maybe in the route setup you already have. So this is what we still need. We need to now in the submodules explain, or the subroutes explain which one should I choose, because later on I might end up having something like this. Let me try and show you just a small example. I might have one called details, right? Maybe even with an ID. So then I need to go to the details component, right? So that'll be where you start routing each feature inside the main feature of customers, right? Sweet. Let's just keep this here. I'm just going to copy this, yoink, and I'm going to put it into the routing for orders as well, boink. There we go, and there we'll of course just do it for orders instead of products. Orders list component, it's not there right now. Wasn't that the name? Oh, I need the D, there we go. Orders list component. Order list component, thank you. There we go, and I'll just remove the product list. Yeah, I know there's an S there, it shouldn't be there. Just remove it if you don't want it. I'll live with it. And then the final one right here, we'll go in and we'll do the same thing again. This time it'll just be for the customers list component, right? There we go. So now we have kind of the route set up, and now when I click, I'll try and show you, because now there's actually a lot of things going on with a single click when we talk about routing. So let's just try and have a look at that inside the actual application right here. First, let's start with the home page, and let's just clear everything out, and I'll go to network and I'll do a refresh and I'll clear everything here as well. So when I click the orders, what you'll notice is, first of all, I get the orders module as soon as I click it. The reason for that is, if we jump back to the code, is that when I hit orders, it should load the orders module, right? But it also does something else. If you look, it also shows order list works. Now that actually comes from this order list component right here. So how does it actually load that part into our application? Well, that's because the routing right here, this guy, let's just go down to the right one. This guy actually says you need to open the orders module. Now the orders module, he says, well, I know there's an order routing in here, so let's use that. And the order routing says, well, if you go to the root of me, which is /orders, then you go and get the order list component and present that. And the order list component is then generated, created, ready to be used, and being sent into the router outlet right in here inside the app component HTML. Ta-da! That's how simple it is. That's the routing for you, right? And as I said, we can keep adding routes now, and we don't have to add in front of this /orders, because my main route will set that automatically for me up here in the app routing, right? So that's kind of how you sub-route, and now we actually set up a lazy loading ready multi-module setup. Now we just need to start generating that actual business logic and the different components that we want to use. That's it for this lesson. See you next time. Have fun.